Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next? I'm Mike, your host, and I hope you guys are having the best day ever. Before I get started, guys, if you are new here, please subscribe if you haven't already done that. We're on the road to 89,000 subscribers, and I would love you to join me on this journey. So hit subscribe and join the fam. And also, guys, go follow me on all my social media. Links are in the description. I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Snapchat, so go follow me on all of those. And as you guys know, I recently started a Facebook account, so you can add me on Facebook, and we can be Facebook friends, so go do that. Link is in the description. And finally, be sure to turn on the notification bell right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified every time I upload a video. Thank you. But once again, I am coming back at you guys with another creepy video, and today we are talking about another scary story, but this one is a creepypasta, and it's one of my favorites. And this scary story is called Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Yes, you 90s kids will know it. Ed, Edd, and Eddy, the episode 34, I think it's called. So this episode of Ed, Edd, and Eddy, which is episode 34, it's hard to explain, literally, like, hard to explain. But it is a creepy story. I don't think it's true, but it's a creepy story. And there is another one about Ed, Edd, and Eddy, which I thought was really good too, so I might do that one too. The thing I loved about this story is because I was just such a big fan of Ed, Edd, and Eddy when I was growing up. So this one kind of hits at home when you've seen like almost all of the episodes of Ed, Edd, and Eddy. But enough of the jibber jabber, let's get right over to the story. Ed, Edd, and Eddy, episode 34. As you may know, the popular show Ed, Edd, and Eddy has been running for a long time. However, between October 7th, 2003 and October 21st, 2003, episode 34 was accidentally released 1 week before it was scheduled to. It was also known to some around the office the primary writer had been sick with the flu, and instead of going on to make episode 34, the show was supposed to replay episode 1. At 5 a.m. Eastern, people reported a very disturbing new episode premiering on Cartoon Network. Some children were unfortunate enough to see it. Apparently, the quality of the episode was mediocre when held to the regular standards. Animation was choppy, sound was constricted and very muffled. Reports of a line running up and down, similar to a crappy VHS tape, were received. Scenery was described as overwhelmingly dark and depressing, without changing props and other background objects, stormy looking. Characters also behaved oddly. Instead of the normal goofy hijinks-inspired personalities, viewers complained that they seemed extremely agitated, gratuitously hateful towards each other, and constantly about to begin sobbing after the lines. The protagonist also had a very bad lisp. No one knows why, but he spoke with a sexual tone, and that further bothered the viewers. I was one of these viewers. The episode began with Eddy walking down the street with Ed. I noted that Double D was missing. There was an angular shot coming from in front of the two of them to show them walking towards the viewer. He, Eddy, was wearing the angry look he does when something goes wrong. His eyes were red around the iris, and Ed looked absolutely forlorn and practically dragged behind Eddy, tears in his eyes, which were both lazy and looking in opposite outward directions. Kevin, the series antagonist, was riding his bike opposite of the Eds, towards them. The shot became blurry, and low moans were heard coming from Eddy before Kevin hit him, which never happened because the screen went to black. The screen then snapped back, and Kevin was again headed towards Eddy. The view was so blurry at this time that all I saw was a green blob headed towards a yellow one. Again, the low moan, only this time it sounded like the microphone was broken and a loud static came, greatly overshadowing the moan. A clay motion sequence of Double D sleeping in Eddy's bedroom came up. Honestly, it may have just been the abruptness, but I jumped and shivered. Waking up and getting out of bed, he moved oddly around the circular room. The fast pitter-patter of footsteps began, being the only audio. The step sounds were very clear as I was shown a bird's eye view of him scampering around the room. There were no visible doors. Double D began screeching, sounded like a fisher cat as he moved wildly around the cell of a room, faster and faster, until the screen began blurring again. The purple room's color swallowing a now orange blur. An extreme close-up of Eddy's front door sat in absolute silence for a maddeningly long time. At least 2 minutes of dead silence and a door. Next, we see Jimmy and Sarah at a doctor of some sort, probably oral. Jimmy, obstructed in view by a hanging lamp, is crying loudly with Sarah, trying to comfort him in an unusual warm fashion. "It hurts, Sarah. It hurts." Suddenly, the door of the room smashed open by a new character, a dentist. His face wasn't shown because he was tall enough to be out of the shot. Sarah was escorted out of the room. Jimmy was shown. His headgear was mangled, the front bent upward, stretching his lip very high, tearing proportions. The front of his gums were trickling blood, and teeth were missing. The disturbing part was he had lost both arms and legs beforehand, apparently, and sat a paraplegic. I almost cried as I came to the conclusion the others had beaten him up and bent his headgear. The camera stayed on his mangled face for a few seconds, still as picture, and silent as ever. Commercials came on. We are instantly assaulted with a very hairy Rolf in his darkened shed, fisting the cow repeatedly. The visual loops gets blurry again as the scene pans out. Naz is reading a magazine on her couch. The quality is now perfect. Eddy is now alone without Ed. The quality declines worse than before, and he is still walking. The sun now lightening the mood somewhat as he smiles and begins running. The door is shown again, and we see through Eddy's eyes. His house is nice and bright, but a very bad violin is blurring the only audio in the scene as he makes his way through the house. Johnny is shown under Naz's couch cushion as he crawls out on all fours in a comedic way and pops up behind her, still oblivious. I laughed because someone forgot to draw his eyes, and I thought of a mole. Suddenly, I stopped laughing as he started swallowing her head, still in a cartoonish fashion, of course. But this was different. He and she stayed like this until she started kicking and struggling. Johnny held her like this until she went limp. A zoom in on his face revealed extremely small human eyes. Double D was laying on Eddy's floor, no longer in clay motion. The camera showed Eddy's house for the remainder of the episode, about 3 minutes. And then, the next program began on the spot. And that is the end of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this creepy Ed and Eddy story. If you guys watched it as a kid, you will kind of understand it. If you didn't, then you probably won't really get it that much. But creepypasta's been around for a long time, and this was one of my favorites. I haven't heard it in so long. I was literally just reminded of it today, and I was like, oh my god, I want to read that again. And when I read it, I was like, now that I'm a YouTuber who does this kind of thing, I can do my own version of it. But my question to all of you for question of the day is, did you watch Ed, Edd and Eddy as a kid? Let me know in the comment section. That is question of the day. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please slap a like on it. Let's see if we can go for 80 billion likes on this video. I would really appreciate that. And if you guys didn't see my previous video, be sure to check it out right about here. You can click on it on the outro and it will take you straight over there. Or if you want to watch another random video, you can click this side and it will do that too. But remember the most important thing of all, guys, chase your dreams. I love you all. Don't let anybody bring you down, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another video. Peace out.